Hello, 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 everyone. Good to see you guys coming back in. I so appreciate it. I so appreciate it. Hey, Brat, how you doing, sweetie? Number one this evening. There we go. He said, "Good evening, PG. Much love. God bless. Summer Moon, Utah Wells. Prayers for Miss Norways and prayers for everyone in chat. Oh, girl, that is beautiful. We appreciate it. God bless. Amen. Absolutely. Welcome, everyone. Please hit the thumbs up. It helps Summer's channel. Yes, it does, girl. It does help. And all missing children. Exactly. And all missing children. And don't forget to sub up to the channel. Thank you. Amen. Absolutely. Definitely hit that thumbs up and sub up if you will. If you will. We surely appreciate it here. Amen. And let's see, Lady Q, number 2. There we go. Good to be here, CD. Hey, it's good to see you guys coming back in. God bless. I appreciate it. I really do. You don't know how much, but I appreciate it. Hey, Wendy, how you doing, sweetie? Hey, much love to you too, girl. Much love to you. You are number 3. Number 3 in here. God bless. And number 4 is just a small town girl. All right. I appreciate it. Hey, everyone. Hey to you. God bless. All right. Let's get down through here and see who else we got in here tonight. Gemini Moon, how you doing, sweetie? Good to see you. Good to see you. And Abigail, there you are, girl. Hello to you. I'm not even going to try to pronounce that. Right? I'm going to call you Mar. And I appreciate you coming in here, girl. Hello, everyone. Hello to you. God bless. Janet, how you doing, sweetie? How you doing? And Suzanne, raised in the boondocks. PG's a little girl. How you doing tonight? How's that son-in-law of mine? You tell him to be good. Take it easy. Hey, Wendy, Patty, good to see you. Anna, Renee, Patty Ponytail, Janet, Carrie, how you doing, sweetie? Lady Q. She says, Brat, let me know when you're up for a chat. I love chatting. I love chatting with everybody behind the scenes. I really do. It's nice. It's nice to have friends behind the scenes here that people you can talk to. I'm going to tell you, I'm stuck with my kids 24/7, and other than my job, and that's you have to talk to clients and everything, stay professional. So it's really nice to talk to other people, you know, sometimes outside of work and so forth and so on. It's nice to talk to people about, just anything, not something all the time. Hey, Grieva Mama, good to see you, sweetie. Praying for justice for Summer Moon, Utah Wells, praying for all the Summer's Army, and tons of prayers and hugs. Love from Oklahoma. All right. There you go, girl. Absolutely. That's a beautiful place. Oklahoma is beautiful. And Dorothy, how you doing, sweetie? Under the scars, how you doing? Do you have closed captioned at PG's at Per Garden of America? That's something. That's something you. I think you got to put on. You got to put on. If you want it, I'm pretty sure. I mean, I think that's like you got to use that from your computer. Hey, Julie, I have to see you in order to bring you up, hon. I have to be able to see you. Got to open the camera. I didn't see anything. It just turned all one color. I see nothing. No, it obviously your camera's not working. I'm seeking truth. How you doing, sweetie? Nurse Cindy, Renee, Molly. There's Molly. We miss you, Molly. We miss you when you're not in here. I know that you're always watching and making sure things are going good. But we miss you when you're not in the chat. We absolutely miss you. Carrie, how you doing, sweetie? Oh wow, seeking truth. I appreciate that super sticker. All right. All right. Hey Andrew. Round two, you being jelly. Round two. You're gonna be real jelly. You see that super sticker? I'm gonna leave it up. I'm gonna leave it up there for a while. I'm gonna leave it up there so he can see it. Hey, PG's little girl says, oh, that's beautiful. That is absolutely beautiful. But I'm going to keep this up, you know, because I know it's just making Andrew so jelly. Oh, we just got back to back in your face, Andrew, in your face. All right, Abigail, I appreciate the gifted 5 Prayer Garden of America memberships. And Nurse Cindy, I appreciate that. Love you, PG, for Summer's channel. Hey, girl, I so appreciate it. God bless. Yes. Oh, wow. Oh, wow. Look at that, Andrew. Look at that. Ooh. Boy, I bet you jelly, 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 Andrew. I bet you so jelly. Wow. Wow. I so appreciate that, you guys. I do. I do. Especially tonight, because I know he's watching. I know he's watching. And after what he done, yeah, I seen it coming. I seen it coming early. And I was like, you know what? I'm gonna let everybody see like father, like son. And he didn't disappoint me. He did not disappoint me. And I said, that's what that little girl had at her back. God bless her. God bless her and may God be with her. That's so sad. I'm going to tell you, I do not like evil people. Hey, Molly, I appreciate that. Absolutely. Absolutely. Nurse Cindy, yes, absolutely. We so appreciate your support for Summer's channel. God bless. Hey, Brown Eyes Blue, good to see you, girl. Good to see you. Oh, that is so sweet, Mama Bear. Much love. Amen. Absolutely. Oh, she said, thank you, Abigail Rose. So greatly appreciated. Absolutely. That was a gift that will keep giving. That's a gift that will keep giving. Amen. And all the gifts keep giving, because everything you guys give goes into the StreamYard. It goes into the other people in the chat. When you give the Prayer Garden of America memberships, you know, you make a lot of people happy. You do not know how happy that you make your family in here when you gift them one of those. You know, they get so excited. A lot of them hit me up behind the scenes and are like, oh, I got a membership. I was so happy. And, you know, and you just don't know how much you made their day. You really don't. And, you know, I want you to know how much they truly appreciate it when they're getting those memberships. So God bless each and every one of you. for supporting Summer's channel and helping it to move forward, as it does. Oh, that's so sweet, Molly. Nurse Cindy. Oh, much love. She sending love to Nurse Cindy. That is so sweet. Hey, on that Bee Mama Bear. How you doing, sweetie? Good to see you. Good to see you over here. Anyway, I wanted to I told you guys in the last chat that Hunter lied about being up on the hill, right? Yeah, he was up there, walking up behind Summer, and then he said on Chris M's, and he totally lied. Did you notice anything? Yeah, I noticed her hair was cut. You noticed that when you were up on the hill. And then you said, that you guys weren't affiliated or hanging around there for so long. And we clearly know you was. Clearly we do. As I said, I have pictures.
She pulls
right
up.
Here.
That.
Right here. Right here, you guys, it is. That's Hunter. As you can see, he's going up behind Summer. And this is 110 Ben Hill Road. He's going up behind Summer. She's holding her puppy. He's going up behind her, and her head is already shaved. He knew her head had been shaved when he didn't notice that on June 15th. He already knew, but he lied. He lied to Chris M. I noticed her hair had been cut. There you are. Right there you are behind her, coming up on her. There, there's your pants. And here you are again. There's your pants. There's your bare feet. I mean, same pants. He's coming up behind her, and this is right before she disappeared. This is just, probably about, I say, 7, 8 weeks before she disappeared. He's up there walking right behind her. They had already, in my opinion, Don and Candace had already started. They had already started, the process of planning out how this was all going to go down on June 15th. They were in the process of planning it all out. And they already had Hunter up here in it. Look at him. Look at him, how he's walking up behind this child. I mean, it's creepy. It's absolutely creepy. Why would you, if you took note when he went into the water, it was the same way. For some reason, he likes to come up behind people. And that's just really creepy, And it's really sad. It's really sad. Could you imagine being a 5-year-old child and having someone like this creeping up on you like that? It had to be, I mean, didn't this baby go through enough without all the extra BS? I mean, wasn't it hard enough that this little girl had to, live in a dirty home, right? Very filthy, dirty house. Wasn't it bad enough that, she really didn't ever get any new clothes or any really nice toys to play with or a collection of storybooks like most children do. She didn't have, a clean bed with the juvenile sheets and comforters and stuff, the pretty comforters and things that people get their children, she didn't get much food. She really didn't get much of anything. I mean, this little girl was really in my opinion, abused and neglected. She had a mother that drank daily until she passed out. And I know, and I'm not going to say in my opinion, I'm going to say fact, because, at one time I was talking to Candace and Don Wells on a very daily basis. You guys were watching Don and Candace on a daily basis, because Donald was always coming out on Cher's channel or Benny Keys. And you guys know that every single time you seen him and he was on the hill, Candace was liquored up, screaming, hollering, acting totally violent and out of control. And, this is what this baby had to put up with. She had to put up with two parents who, had some very bad addictions to alcohol and illegal substances. And it wasn't, once in a while. It was a daily thing. We seen those two, getting down on that stuff on a daily basis. And this is what this child had to live with. This is, their addictions was way more important than their children's well-being. And in safety. It was, they could only think of themselves and not these children. And these children, wasn't getting bathed, they wasn't getting fed, they wasn't getting, to live in a clean home, a clean environment. They wasn't getting read bedtime stories and tucked in, and these kids did not have a normal life in any aspects. They did not have any normalcy whatsoever. No normalcy. And then you start adding other things on top of it. Now let's talk about all the weirdos that Don and Candace is bringing up there, around these kids to taunt them and to, in my opinion, violate them and possibly, abuse them as well. And, they were severely neglected by, just that mattress alone, that dirty mattress, that went beyond neglect. That was abuse. That kind of filth is not healthy for anyone. Like no human. It wouldn't be healthy for animals to sleep on. And here these children were. And the people that Don and Candace hung with and they brought around, very uncouth people, right? Hanging around these children. These children's lives were a nightmare. I could only imagine the tragedy that these kids were going through. I don't think our minds could ever perceive the pain, the sorrow, the hurt, the misery. To be honest with you, I bet the Lord was catching bucket after bucket after bucket of tears out of those children's eyes. When they say that, the angels store up our tears, I bet there was quite a few tears out of children that should have not had any tears at all. They should have been healthy and happy. They should have felt safe and loved and cared about. They had every right to normalcy, and they got none because of two people who put themselves before all things and did not, care about these children at all. And that is my opinion. That's my opinion due to the fact of what we had seen previous to all of this. And it's my opinion due to the fact that we had two of the boys saying they don't want to go home. They were out. Can we speak to the judge? Can we write him? If we can't see him, can we write him? Right? Can we write the judge and tell the judge we don't want to go back there? So it had to be pretty tragic when you got children so scared they don't want to go back. And also, we got to look at the history. We got to look at the history up in Utah. We got to look at the history over in Wisconsin. We got to look at the history in Arkansas that led to Tennessee. And I'm going to tell you, with these kind of people, history always repeats itself. You can't teach old dogs new tricks. Hey, Carolina, I appreciate that. I appreciate that, girl. Thank you for keeping Summer case out. I've never missed any of your videos. I pray this beautiful child gets justice soon. Amen. Amen. Hey, girl, I am in agreements with you, and I pray that she does too. God bless. Boo-hoo, Andrew. Girl, that's a good one. That's a good one. Absolutely. And you know he's boo-hooing right now too, right? Matter of fact, I think he tried to come up on the last live, and then he was working his way on trying to get up here tonight. And if so I got to be extra careful. If I can't see the person, I can't let them up. I got to know who it is. Hey, Chris. God bless. He says, amen, ladies. You know what? Fred, I don't know. I don't know where Fred fits into this. If him and Laura really, really does. I thought that him and Laura did. Before I understood who Chad Arnold was, Chad Arnold act like he was telling on Candace, but we found out that no, he wasn't telling on her. He was meeting up with her, and he was going to keep his mouth shut. Had he not been seen on that video going out onto Beach Creek with Candace right behind him. Actually, law enforcement had to hunt Chad Arnold down. They had to go to him. He didn't come to law enforcement. They had to go seek him and find him. And, in order to even talk to him, he wasn't he wasn't giving up information, wanting to help a missing child and everything. Actually, I heard he was hard to find, and they want to talk to him right now, and he's hard to find, along with Jimmy Long. They're wanting to talk to Jimmy too. I heard they got Jimmy. I heard they actually got Jimmy, and I heard, allegedly, this is through the grapevine stuff, you guys. Good sources. Pretty reliable. Like, I say, 99.9% of the time, they're given solid information, when they talk with me. So anyhow, I heard Jimmy, that they did get Jimmy. I heard that Jimmy did talk. I heard that actually Marlena and some others talked as well. And law enforcement has more right now than they did before. Some solid stuff that they're, that they're behind the scenes. They got some really good tips, some really good information. And I heard that, yes, Marlena was supposed to be a very good contributor to that. And Jimmy Long, a very good contributor to that. So, they got some stuff. So I think things, are moving. There are things moving behind the scenes, because I heard that, law enforcement, supposedly law enforcement had made a statement. Somebody in law enforcement had made a statement that they suspect Summer's case to be solved. That's what, and that lady did come out. And said that they just needed they were waiting on just a little bit of something else. So that must be in the works. That must be in the works. Because she was like, we got it, but it's being filtered. It's being filtered. In order to it's being put through. Like, when law enforcement gets something, they have to, it has to go through channels. And I did take note that she said, we're just waiting for a little bit more. So that that tells me that they're waiting for something to be okayed. And at that point, they think they got it. They think, they think that that's going to solve the case. Now, is it getting the funding and getting everything together that it's going to take to exhume, or to go in there and however they're planning to do it, to check that particular grave site? It could be. That, that would have to go through some channels, because if the family doesn't want to give you clearance, then you have to go, you have to go through all the freaking paperwork and everything. Because it's going to be on the bottom. It's going to be on the bottom of a PAL, and it's got to come to the top, with the court system, in order to, to get clearance to do such a thing. And, so that's going to take time. And the way things are moving right now, crawling, it's at a crawl. I can't say it's as bad as it was, after the big C word. I mean, things are speeding up a little bit more now than they were before. It's easier, right? It's easier to get things done now than it was, a year ago. So with things picking up a little bit more now, I think we're going to, we have a good shot of finding out, out pretty soon what exactly they got that's going through clearance. That's what I'm saying. He wouldn't get Miss Justice. That's not true. That's not true. He would not get an ounce of information. He wouldn't. I know that. I know that for a fact. He would not get an ounce of information. I don't know, he knows nothing. Andrew acts like he knows, how YouTube works, but he doesn't. He does not know. And he's putting out, he's putting out lies. And because that ain't how it works. No. The reason that I don't strike anyone, the reason that I don't do it is because if they're, if they're talking about PG, then they're putting, Summer's case is being spread it wider, to more people. What I'm saying is when they, if they pull anything up from this channel, then it's just going to allow, more people to see Summer, to understand the case, to know more about what's going on in it. And, with even Andrew, believe it or not, is helping Summer. And that's why I don't do it. That's the reason I don't do it. Vengeance is mine, saith the Lord. You got to have mercy to obtain mercy, and so forth and so on. And, and I'm not thinking about, lowering myself to Andrew's level. I don't even think I could go that low. But, it's about this little girl. It's about her. It's about getting her exposed out there as far as we can for people to see and hear this case, and to, have mercy, and possibly, if anyone knows anything, to come forth and tell it, and, to help her case. So, there's, believe it or not, and evil people think they're doing evil. But what they don't understand is all good comes out of evil. What I'm saying is, you might stomp your toe, right? You might stomp your toe. Okay. You can't put on your shoe the next day, or whatever. But I'm going to tell you something. You say, oh, when it rains, it pours. But I'm going to tell you, when you stomped that toe, you had, and couldn't put on your shoe. You had people saying kind things to you. If you got kids, they're there to help you. You know the good that came out of you stomping your toe and not being able to put on your shoe? Is you saw all the kindness, caring, and love in the world. You seen that maybe the people you thought, didn't care, you do so much for, and so forth, God let you see that there is people there for you, whether it's co-workers, whether it was your family, your kids. It doesn't matter who it was. God let you see there, that people do care, and they do love you, and you needed that. You might have needed that. But you didn't notice that because you stayed too focused on what happened, and the fact you can't wear a shoe. And so you're not going to see the good. You're not going to see the good in it unless you stop and you look for the good. And no matter what it is, there's good comes out of it. Good comes out of evil. This might sound weird, to you guys. And then again, it may not. Maybe you've been there. Maybe you've been there and you know exactly what I'm talking about. But I've had some evil people that thought they was doing some real evil to me, And I'm going to tell you something. I actually found myself thanking God. Thanking God. I was glad that those people were evil because, their evilness made me a way better person than I ever was before. It made me a way better person. And it educated me in so many ways. I was so grateful and thankful. Their evil done nothing but rise. It just raised me higher. That's what it did. And I'm going to tell you, I thank God. I thank God for it. I don't say, Lord, you let me, no, because that's exactly, they were the reason, you know, that I became a way better person in this world. So I wasn't upset at all, you know, and I seen all the good. I seen all the good that came from it. And that may sound weird, but it's true. It's the honest to God's truth. And I am grateful and I am thankful. And there's many times, that I think, everything like Murphy's Law, everything that can go wrong will, you know, and I stop and I say, what am I supposed to learn out of this? What am I supposed to see? There's something good in all of this. And I find it. I find it. There is good that comes out of all bad. It's just the way it is. Evil people, they don't understand. They're, like the Bible says, they're blind. They don't understand how God works, right? They don't understand it. But, I'm going to tell you something. I agree. Robin from the church, I'm going to tell you, she knows a lot more than she's saying. And I think that last prayer vigil that she did, when she said there's cupcakes and brownies in the basement if you want some, tons of them. Get yourself some, take some home. Summer don't need cupcakes and brownies where she is. I think Robin was trying to let everybody know, that she believes Summer's no longer with us as well. And who would know better? Who would know better than Robin? Right? She hung around the wells as well. And she saw everything. I don't think she might not have heard and seen. They try, the one thing I know about Don and Candace is they try, they have like this mad respect, for the church people. What I'm saying is Don and Candace act totally different around the church people than they act with, just regular people like us. And so when Robin was around, I'm sure they was on best behavior and everything. She might, but I think she did get a good glimpse into the real Don and Candace Wells. The ones that I knew, the ones that Allie and Cam knew, the ones that Benny Keys knew, the one that Cher knew. I think, I think she got a real good glimpse of the real Dawn and Candace as well. And, and I think that's why she made that statement. She was just tired of putting on this facade for Dawn and Candace, playing frenzies, you know, and them acting the way they did. I think she was just really, done with it. I think she was done with it. Yeah, she stopped hanging around them. Well, I know that most of the church had turned their backs on Dawn and Candace early on, except the preacher and Robin. Actually, Robin's husband didn't even care for Dawn and Candace after what happened to Summer. After all of that, even he, was standoff. He was standoff, and but he lets his wife make her own choices, as you should, and and he and Robin, I think she just had a need to be there and a need to really know the truth. All of God's children have that need. All of God's children have a need to want and know the truth. And I think that she got it. I think she found it, to be honest. I think Tim is the one who mostly Robin I think, writes on the Find Summer Wells thing, you know, once in a while. She says stuff like the Awesome Three, talking about the boys and, silly stuff. But you can tell the difference between her and Tim Mullins when they're posting. You can tell the difference. The way it's written and the wording and everything. Tim Mullins, he writes more like a news, like a newspaper writer would. Robin is more, relaxed and silly, like silliness, So their comments are, like super far apart. But she did. She did. She did at the beginning. At the beginning, let's get some fanny packs and snacks and go look for Summer. And I think that Robin really thought, like law enforcement, I think she really thought that Summer wandered off and they was going to find her. I think she thought, I think because she didn't really know Dawn and Candace. She didn't really know them. She knew that they came to the church. They brought the kids. She knew they were lazy, right? She hadn't ever been to their home, to my understanding. Robin hadn't ever been to Dawn and Candace's house until Summer went missing. It's to my understanding, none of the people from the church had ever been to the Wells house before Summer went missing. So only thing they really knew about them is when they show up at church with the kids and, and how they acted, didn't really make the kids set in mind, and just let them run rampant, and everybody else take care of them. And I think that um Robin had her thoughts about Dawn and Candace, you know early on, but I don't think she, you know it's hard for anyone to believe that someone could do something sinister to their child. That's very hard to believe. I mean, you just don't see that coming. You don't see it coming unless you do hang around a person's house, right? Like if you hang around someone's house, like say or neighbors, like the neighbors and stuff, maybe someone across the road from you or beside you or whatever, you have a pretty good idea. You might see it coming if they live close to you, or if you hang there, if you go there, you might see it coming, because you're able to see how abusive they are, right? You're able to see their character and how abusive they are and what kind of people they are, and so forth and so on. So you might see it coming if you hang around with them, if you socialize with them, or if you live close to them and can hear and see a lot going on in the backyard, front yard. you know um you'll get glimpses um of some people. But for the most part, they lived way out, secluded. you know the church people really had never been there. They hadn't really ever hung around with them or anything like that, so they didn't really know them. And therefore, I don't think Robin saw that coming. To be honest, I think she was being silly and everything, because she thought that, oh, Summer's out there somewhere. They're going to find her. It might take. Some kids are missing 3 or 4 days before they're found. You know, but she'll be found. If she's out there, they'll find her. And I don't think she was really overly concerned until a week passed and 2 weeks passed, and then I think she just went on acting silly and frenzy up with Candace, and as if she's not judgmental or anything. And I think she was keeping her eyes and ears open, trying to see and hear and learn all she could for Summer's sake. And she couldn't exactly, come out here and talk about Dawn and Candace, right? She couldn't do that. She couldn't show her real feelings, towards this case, because, that would shut Dawn and Candace down, right? She had to keep the persona that, I'm a Christian, I'm a good church person, I ain't judgmental. It doesn't matter what people say. She had to hold on to that in order to, to be able to keep her ears and her eyes open and learn everything she possibly could, because she really wanted to know the truth too, for Summer's sake. She loved that little girl. She held that little girl. She watched that little girl. That little girl really loved her and gave her gifts and everything. And it probably broke her heart, but she couldn't show it. She wasn't allowed to show it, because, that would cause, Candace and Dawn to start standing off. And that wouldn't help Summer. But I think Robin, the last visual they had, and Dawn and Candace ran from that weird Wells guy, and left Robin, holding the bag. I think that was the straw that, kind of broke the camel's back. What do you guys think? I think, I think that was a real eye opener for Robin. And that pretty much, I kind of felt that she looked finished at that point, to be honest with you. Yeah, she was in a really, really awkward position, right? Yeah, I agree. I agree, Danny. Absolutely. That's true too. That's true, Susan. Absolutely. PJ, did you notice where Hunter's leaning against the wall? There was other person behind there. You can see a boot. It looks like Hunter was demonstrating. Um, I would have to blow that up. I see the boots on the ground there in front of him in the one picture. He's barefooted. He always likes to go barefooted. And those must have been his favorite pants, or maybe the only pants he had. I don't know. But he seemed to wear those pants quite a bit. You know, he seemed to wear those pants a lot. Yeah, yeah, you have to sometimes you got to put a shirt on these people. Right? Okay, I'm going to look into that. I'm going to look into that. I'll blow it up and bring it in, God willing, tomorrow night. What I came in for is I wanted to let Andrew know that he didn't he didn't get away with last night. He did not get away with last night. Matter of fact, right here it is. Oh crap. We got Andrew backstage. What do you want, Andrew?
Where are you getting this from?
I can't give out my sources, but they come from Kingsport.
Darling, you know it's a lie.
I don't know it's a lie.
I can
I
tell
don't
you
know
for a
it's a
fact
lie.
it's a lie.
I have no idea if it's a lie or not.
Well, I'm telling you for 110 it's a lie.
Well, has Hunter said anything to you about law enforcement coming to him after he turned of age and then
No,
came back a couple of times wanting to him
no.
to
The law enforcement only talked to him once, and that was shortly after Summer went missing. And they ain't
and they
bothered him
and
since.
they didn't ever come back and ask for a lie detectors test or
Nope,
another interview or
nope,
anything like that.
nope,
They
not at
they
all.
haven't showed up lately asking for
No,
any interviews.
nope,
Could Hunter be telling someone that they did just to show off or maybe
no.
get
Hunter's
some
been busy.
attention?
No, Hunter's been busy. his daughter was just born, literally.
Right.
4 days ago.
Congratulations, Grandpa.
Yeah, don't remind me. But the boy's been doing
Is this your first? Is this your first grandkid?
Yes, ma'am.
Oh wow! So that's special to you.
And Deputy Sheriff, how would I know? Because I conversate with my son every day. That's what we do. Just because we're not physically next to each other doesn't mean we don't know what's going on.
Do you think that Hunter would tell you?
Yeah, Hunter tells me just about everything these days. The only thing he ain't told me was, what positions he goes at it with his old lady. And I'm thankful for that. So,
wow.
Him and I have a good relationship.
So you think that Hunter would trust you enough to tell you what's going on in Summer's case?
Yeah. I think he trusts me more than most. Because I'm pretty much the only one around him that ain't stabbed him in the back. I'm not that type.
Ain't that BS? Ain't that BS? Wasn't it Andrew that we was just listening to on the last live talking about how Hunter done all kinds of evil things to his mother, to Andrew's mother, and then to Hunter's own mother, and ain't he the one that said that at the end there that PG, you know how Leslie passed away, right? Sick, hit her head, coma, became online. 2 and 2's 4. Because Allison became supposedly sick, fell, hit her head, became online after going into the coma, right? 2 women leaving this world exactly the same way, and they're only, the only thing they had in common was Hunter, right? 2 women went out of this world with head injuries. Head injuries, bad enough to put them into a coma. I mean, I think it's pretty damn hard to hit your head hard enough to go into a coma. Right? Like most people that fall, for instance, most people that they're sick and they fall down, they might take out a hip or a leg or a foot or an elbow, an arm. Most people, it's very rare for people, especially 2 in a row. It's very rare for people, to hit their heads that hard that it actually puts them into a coma and unlives them. Right? I mean, you gotta look, you gotta look at the numbers, right? You gotta look at the numbers. And very few people go out like that. Very damn few. I mean, there's people fall in a freaking bathtub and survive, right? I mean, we had 2 women, back to back, baby, go out that way. And the common denominator was Hunter. Just saying, I have to agree with Andrew. I have to agree with him. Something ain't right there. Something just ain't right. And that came out of his own mouth. So, this guy's nothing but BS.
Try to stab him in the front.
Has, I don't personally, think you care where you get them at, Andrew. That's my opinion. But, I know pretty much I'm like 99.9% sure that when the apple don't fall far from the tree, you usually sneak up on people just like your son. We seen your son sneaking up on Summer just a second ago in the picture, right? And we seen him sneaking up on her as he's going into that water at the horse pond. And I have another picture where he's up on her. Only she, had time to turn around and face him. But you could tell she was intimidated by him. I'll bring that picture tomorrow as well. I would like for everyone to see it also. But yeah, I'm going to tell you, poor Summer. I mean, what was that boy's fascination with this little girl? What was his a fascination with this child? It's weird. Has he ever contacted law enforcement asking about his phone or any of that?
No.
He hasn't. Did Allison ever contact him about Hunter's phone before she passed?
Allison had it. Everybody, from my understanding,
Right.
Everybody was giving back their phones. Allison, given the fact that Hunter was underage at the time, had to go get said phone. So if Hunter didn't get his phone back, that means Allison kept it.
Why that's BS. I knew he was talking BS when I let him talk. Right? Because you don't ever know what you're going to get out of a human like this. You don't ever know what you're going to get out of them. So, you got to lead them on, let them go, let them talk. He said some very interesting things last night. He told a lot of truth. Because he already knew what he was, what he came in there to do. And he thought he knew. He thought he knew, a little too much. He thought he knew a little too much. But he didn't know nothing. Right? That's what we're proving to him right now. You know nothing. You don't know how things work. You think you know how things work, but you don't know how things work. Right? We're brilliant. But I knew early on he was shooing someone away. I said, oh, this dude right here, he's up to no good. Right? He's up to no good. And we're going to give him an opportunity to show it. We're going to give Andrew the opportunity to show people, what poor little Summer had to go through. Because, see, he plotted. Daddy plotted against us last night. He knew what he was going to do, and that's why he didn't care about answering the questions and answering them truthfully, because he thought that was going to all have to go away. It's back. All right. Here's Johnny. Right? Here's Johnny, Andrew. You wasn't looking for that, was you? PT's brilliant. Right. I'm a brilliant bitch. I knew what you thought. Like I told the people last night, hey, I can fix it. I know what I can do. All right. Yeah. I'm afraid, I'm out of his league. I'm way out of his league, right? You do that.
because I was paying for it.
Hey, Audrey, I appreciate it. I appreciate the support for Summer's channel. God bless, girl. So,
Everything that pertained to the Summer Wells case went down within that first couple of days she went missing.
why would they not ask Hunter to take a lie detector test? I mean, they always ask everybody. Why would they leave him out of that?
I don't think they did. I think it was done when he went down there and was asked questions. When they first interviewed him and he went down there, it was most likely done all at the same time.
Oh, so you think he took a lie detector test?
Well, everybody else did. Why wouldn't he? Except for one difference. He was a minor at the time, so they probably did it in one sitting. Which, of course, that's been known to happen from time to time.
Well, Allison told me that Hunter didn't have to go downtown. That law enforcement
Allison said
to
a
her
lot.
house.
Allison said a lot that couldn't be proven.
Who is act right? Be not just. Who are you talking to? Who exactly are you talking to? I'm waiting to hear who she's talking to. Right? Oh, did Hunter tell you that he went downtown to speak with them?
Yep.
And he said that when he was down there,
He told me when he finally picked up the phone 3 days after she went missing.
okay. When did he tell you?
He told me what he's been spewing this whole time. Last he saw her was just before he had to go to his appointment at 2:30 when he got dropped off that early afternoon. That was the last time he saw her.
And he said that they gave him, questioned him up and gave him a lie detector test all at the same time.
I'm believing so, but he's never won. He said that he had everything done when he went and got questioned. So I'm taking that as he took a lie detector at the same time. That's how I'm taking that. I mean,
right?
I don't think why anybody else would. I mean, why anybody else would think different. But as for police getting a hold of him about the Wells case, no. Not any.
Hey, Ruby, thank you. I appreciate that, sweetheart. So, three days after Summer went missing is when how long did it take law enforcement to come and question Hunter after
I
she
don't
went
know.
missing?
All I know is I was finally able to get a hold of him 3 days after. I don't know what within that 3 days, what day exactly it was, but that's all I know is I was finally able to get a hold of him after 3 days.
Right. And after that 3 days, when you talked to him, he said he had went downtown to speak with law enforcement and was questioned up, basically interrogated.
But yeah, I mean, they can only question. They can only go so far with questioning because he was underage. I mean,
Right.
his mom was there, so they had her permission.
And you believed at that time he took a lie detector's test too?
Yeah, because they didn't. It never came up again about anymore about him having to go downtown to be questioned or anything. So I took it as all right. It was one and done. That's
Right.
how I took it.
I heard that he didn't take a lie detector's test. I heard that here's what I'm hearing. This is what I'm hearing. I'm hearing that he didn't take the lie detector's test at all. I'm hearing that they came to Allison's house after when they found out who he was. They went to Allison's home, a couple of detectives. They spoke to Hunter there and questioned him up. And Allison didn't refuse to go, refused to bring him in for questioning, and she refused the lie detector's test. I hear once he became of age, they had reached out, asked him about,
No,
asked him about coming in, and he didn't respond to it, said no. And then I hear that after some information that just recently surfaced that they're looking into, and they have went back and asked him just recently
no,
to come in and comply with him.
no. I've been on the phone with that boy every day for the last.
No law enforcement has reached out to him
Nope.
recently and asked him that they would like to speak with him again.
Nope, nobody has.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I don't know then. I don't know. I mean,
And as for Nick Donna and them trying to reach out and talk to him, it's his wishes not to talk to him.
that's the wishes I'm hearing that he's having with law enforcement as well, who is reaching out to him.
No, there's no issues with police anywhere around that boy. None. That boy has been way too busy to be dealing with anything at all. Been way too busy.
Are they still living? Are they still living in Allison's house?
No, they ain't lived in Allison's house since about 3 months. Since about a month and a half after she passed.
Oh wow! I thought True said that they was going to give her the house and let her continue paying for it because Allison was renting to own.
Nope.
And already had a lot of money invested in it, and she was supposed to be allowed to pick that up.
Nope.
Really?
Yup.
Was Allison renting to own?
No.
That wasn't.
She was on a program that allowed her to have the home as she saved up to get a home. And it was a 5-year program. It was a money management type home. It's through some type
so what they did
out there that has, I don't know. It's weird to me. I'm not.
So basically, the rent or part of the rent went towards a down payment for another home, and when she reached that level, they was going to allow her to. They were going to allow her to. Now you seen him there. You seen him there, looking at somebody. Still living in Allison's house?
No, they ain't lived in Allison's house since about 3 months. Since about a month and a half after she passed.
Oh wow! I thought True said that they was going to give her the house and let her continue paying for it because Allison was renting to own.
Nope.
And already had a lot of money invested in it, and she was supposed to be allowed to pick that up.
Nope.
Really?
Yup.
Was Allison renting to own?
No.
That
She was on a
wasn't.
program. She was on a program that allowed her to have the home as she saved up to get a home. And it was a 5-year program. It was a money management type home. It's through some
Oh,
type
so what
of
they did.
thing out there that has, I don't know. It's weird to me. I'm not.
So basically, the rent or part of the rent went towards a down payment for another home, and when she reached that level, you see him put up his thumb and then he's pushing somebody off. I took note. I took note. He was doing that backstage when I first noticed him down there and was going to bring. He was doing the same. And did you see him? He's saying no, not right now. I got this. Not right now. They was wanting to do their evil stuff, in the beginning. I took very close note to this and I said, you know what? This reminds me of how they set little Summer up, right? It reminded me right then and there of Dawn saying, this little girl knew, right? I said, I'm going to let my people understand from this video how evil these people are and what this little girl went through. I knew that he was waiting and, until the end. I knew he was wanting to hold off and wait till I was ready to leave. And you know what? I uncovered him at the end so you guys could see the end result of these people, right? He didn't get us. We got him. But I'm going to tell you, little Summer got. She knew. She seen signs, just like we did. Right here, I just showed you. Take another look at it. I'm going to back it up. So basically, the rent or part of the rent went towards a down payment for another home. And when she reached that level, there he is, giving the thumbs. I know what I'm doing. No, not right now. Not right now. See? And that's what they was doing to Summer. And I think she did see. And she's not, she's not an adult. She's not as smart as we was. She was just a little kid. But she was seeing and hearing things she didn't like. And that's horrible. That's horrible. That's absolutely horrible. But, like father, like son, right? They're very evil. Very, very evil. They was going to allow. Now watch. I'm going to cover it up. I'm going to cover him up because see, if I didn't cover him up, he would have, if I didn't cover him up, he wouldn't have, cooperated as good as he did. I had to let him keep thinking he was, he was going to, that we was worried about him getting us. Right? Watch me cover him. Watch me play with him. No.
No.
Her to. They were
Here.
going to allow her to pay for it.
No. And as for shootings, there ain't no shootings that involve my kid. None. My boy don't use pew-pews. My boy use fists. So if it's about a fight, then possibly.
Oh, wow.
I'm sorry, my son's currently sleeping. You know, he has a newborn, so he has to sleep on her time. No, what you saw was a BB gun. They look the same.
Oh, okay. So basically,
The boy never had a gun behind summer, so I don't know what you're daydreaming about, sweetheart.
how come I mean, if Hunter took a lie detector's test, how come you didn't ever ask him? You didn't ever ask him if he took a lie detector's test?
No, it was.
You're his dad. I think that's something I would ask my child. You know, did they give you a lie detector's test? You know,
No, I figured it was all done, one and done. Because I didn't hear nothing more about it after the facts. I figured it was all one and done. What truth am I covering up? There is no truth to be had with myself.
however,
It's
before
about
Summer went
God.
missing, they was at the end of the 5-year program with zero money saved, not
No,
passing inspection, and not working the
No.
hours required.
no, that's all bullshit.
Oh, wow.
Allison actually, that didn't come up until I think a few months before she passed. And then she was on borrowed time.
Oh, wow. April says that they're looking for Hunter
No,
about
no, they're not.
whoa.
April's been trying to spread this bullshit for a hot minute. No, they're not. They're not looking for Hunter for any of that. Trust and believe, they're not.
I think I believe April. I think I believe April. Wow. And somebody says, what are you going to take to the grave? You said it. You said you're going to take it to the grave.
Yep.
What do you know that you're taking to the grave?
He's already said it, so there's no point. I was taking his story to the grave because at that time there was nobody's business but between him and the police. Then why did he want to come to New York? Because I live here. He wants to be with me. You ever once think of that?
Oh, no, I don't think about that, Andrew, because I know Hunter didn't want to come to New York. When you sent those people down there to get him, he told his mom everything. And he actually ran off to be hidden so you couldn't come and get him. He don't want to come to New York. He don't want to come anywhere near you. That's the truth. That's the truth. I've heard Hunter speak of you. You're a wannabe dad. You're one of them wannabe dads. You want to act like dad, play dad, but you're not a dad. I've heard Hunter talk about you, Andrew, and he does not relish in wanting to be around you. That's bullshit. Is him and his girlfriend coming down there to stay with you?
No.
Oh.
No, ma'am. Mm-mm. Nope, we're getting ready to be moving here up out of here by this time next year because we're moving to fucking Montana.
What's in Montana?
It's beautiful out there. Not to mention there's more jobs. Up here, listen, they just signed a bill that made 600,000 job losses. So I'm just done with New York.
Oh, wow.
Yup.
I also heard that New York is just now. Oh no, that's Florida. That's
Yeah.
Florida. Okay, it's not New York.
No, we are not behind on rent. Thanks. And the landlord always wants rent money. What landlord don't?
Are you guys have you been looking into homes out in Montana? I mean, rentals or
We
buying
haven't
them?
decided yet.
I heard law enforcement was wanting to talk to H. But it's supposed to be about Summer's case. Due to all of this new information that just came through, and I'm pretty sure it's about the cemetery.
We have not decided yet on what we want to do. Whether we're going to rent or try to get a little slice of paradise. I couldn't tell you, Stephanie. That was in 08. I don't even think, where the hell was I in 08? In 08, I was, where the fuck was I in 08? Oh, in 08, I was in jail. And I was with my second baby mama.
Oh, and also, get this. Do you remember the PI that said that that this brother needed to tell on his brother? Put a 1 in the chat if you remember the PI that just recently came out here talking about brother. That he needed to turn his brother in. That the person said that they didn't trust talking to anyone but him. Well, this is something that you guys didn't think about. True's old man is what? He's Hunter's brother-in-law, right? He's Hunter's brother-in-law. And in order to not really give it out, to bring it forth, but not really, let people know exact, give it away of who's talking. You would use brother to brother instead of brother to brother-in-law, right? You would use the other term in order to, protect, Summer's case. And, and you don't want nobody catching on to the tip. So with that being said, it is very, very much possible that it was True's old man that was calling this private investigator, talking with him about Hunter, telling him, what he's heard, what he knows, so forth and so on, by being around these people. And of course, I can understand that. I could see that. Absolutely. I could absolutely see that. So, that could be another good reason law enforcement's looking to speak to Hunter at this time.
So, I don't care if I fit in or not, bro. Okay, so April C took my words out of context. Who doesn't?
So, what exactly? What exactly? Did Hunter tell you?
He told me what he's been saying. He's just a timeline witness. That's it. Nothing more. He saw her that morning, hung out for a little bit, went home because he had something else to do, and then went on his merry way with his girlfriend.
You know, I find a lot of discrepancies in the things that Hunter,
Well,
the
that's
things that
because
Hunter's been saying.
the shit he told fucking McDonough was only because his mother told him to, and he did it out of respect for his mom. And the other interviews that were done was because Allison's palms were laced. So,
Well, like Allison lied. She said, well, she said the same thing that Candace said. Candace said, you know, the boys had their hair shaved and Summer wanted her hair shaved, but the boys' hair wasn't shaved. And then Allison said the same thing. Allison said Hunter had his head shaved and Summer wanted her head shaved like Hunter's, but Hunter's head wasn't shaved either.
no,
So why are they lying?
I don't know. That I can't tell you. And as for court permission, I don't need court permission to take my daughter out of state. I'm married to her mother. I don't need
So
court's permission to take my 14-year-old out of state either, because her father has no legal rights. We don't have to have permission to leave. We can just go. And as for my youngest, I have joint custody. I can still take care of that while I'm elsewhere. And that's another reason why we're waiting until next year, because I have one more nail to cross. I have one more nail to pound into that cross before I leave. Well,
you know Allison pretty good.
yeah,
I mean,
I did at one point.
you think that you didn't like, do you feel that right about the time, when she went into Tennessee, do you feel like you kind of didn't know her after that? Or
I didn't even know she was in Tennessee until 2018.
so you thought you knew her, but she
I
showed
didn't
you
know her at all. I mean, she was around for the first 7 years Hunter was born, and I was taking my son for my weekend visitations.
right,
We were having good fun. My child support was always on time.
right,
Until I found out what she was using it for.
right.
And then after that, I tried to get the courts to abolish it, and they said, we're just going to drop it to 25. I said, whatever. I'm still not paying it, because all she's doing is buying alcohol with it. So,
Oh,
and they asked me how I knew. It's like, really? Every time the child support day comes around, she invites me to come over drinking that night. Are you serious?
right.
Like, that's not a coincidence. And I know for a fact she wasn't working when she was in New York. So, 2 and 2 equals 4. So, but I had to wait until 2018 to find them.
Right.
It sucked. Listen, I may have gone on with my life, did whatever I wanted to do throughout that whole time, but I never stopped looking for them. And the best part about it was, me not paying child support is what helped me find them.
Why does the guy that you call your brother, Ericon,
Because he is my brother.
is his name? He's your real brother,
Yeah.
biological.
Yep.
Okay, so that's Hunter's real uncle.
Yeah, by blood.
Why does he have such a really bad opinion of Hunter? Why does
He has a bad opinion on life.
I hear him say some of the most.
He's never liked kids. That's why he doesn't have any.
Oh, so he just basically hates on kids. Period.
Pretty much.
He would say the same thing.
You can't just say he hates on just kids. The man hates on everybody.
Oh,
Like
okay.
he doesn't. He hates everybody. Like that's not even an exaggeration. That's like legit. Like
He don't seem to hate on you.
oh yeah, he does. He just does it privately. He hates on me a lot. I just learned to deal with it.
Oh, because I noticed that he, said he believes this and he believes that, and that he believes that Hunter was guilty and
A lot of
that
his opinions.
and
Especially when he
capable of doing the things that.
he's a lot, like I said, he's a lot of his opinions. He just didn't know the boy like I did, or do. That's all. He never really sat down and gave the boy a shot.
Well, okay, you say he don't know Hunter the way you do. How do you know your son?
He's a good kid. Flawed, but a good kid.
Like, can you elaborate on that?
He's hot-headed.
That ain't good.
He's hot-headed and an asshole. No more, no less. Like, the boy's always been hot-headed.
Like, because I heard you telling me that, he punched your mother.
Yeah, when he was like 3. And that was the last time I took him up there.
And then you said that he stole and he lied and like, what's good about him?
What's good about him?
If somebody said, tell me
three
three
in that
things.
direction.
Tell me 3 things that's really that you're super proud of about your son. 3 really good things that he does that you're super proud of.
He's overprotective of his child. I give him that. Let's see. He's smart. He's book smart, and he passed and he graduated. That I'm proud of him for. And instead of going off the rails when his mom passed away, he dove into work. So he has good work ethic. So I'll give him that too. The boy's got a lot of good qualities. Whether or not he uses them is a different damn story.
I agree, second to none. I agree with that. Absolutely. Did you see the picture on Don B's community post, PG? Yes. The one of Summer? Yes, I seen that. So
no,
he's protective
more than that.
He's protective of the. Okay, if I asked you to tell me 3 things you were really proud of Hunter about 5 years ago, what would those 3 things be?
About 5 years ago, what would they be?
Yeah.
Probably his schooling. And I can only give you that. Because his attitude was piss poor. And he wouldn't listen even if you paid him.
Why do you think he's so protective over his child?
Because it's his first child.
It's a little girl, right? Hey, Molly, that is a good one. But then again, if Andrew had an ankle bracelet, he would probably try to take it to the pawn shop. Hey, girl, that is hilarious. I love it. I love it.
Yep. It's his first child, and it's a girl nonetheless. So, yeah, he's going to be really protective. He already is. He's like, straight up, no swearing, no nothing. I'm like, dude, shut up. Like, that's your first kid. Stop tripping.
Yeah, and
Nobody goes in 2 feet from her without washing their hands. I'm like, oh my God.
like Hunter made a comment to Chris M, but I'm sure he made the same comment to law enforcement because they talked with him the same way Chris did. And Chris being an ex police officer, he's going to pretty much stay on the, maybe detectives and the detectives may have asked, more thorough questions and more, and asked for more detail on certain things. But Chris, being a cop, he's gonna fall in somewhere, in that category as well, because he's been in interrogation rooms and so forth and so on. He's got background with all of that. But here's my thing. When Chris was talking to Hunter, and Hunter said, Summer was the only one wet on that pillow next to the door. We all seen Hunter in the video going into the water, and he would have had to be wet too. Why did he want to keep himself dry? Why would he want to keep himself dry? And
I don't know.
instead of wet as well.
That McDonough interview, if you ask me, was improvised or lied. Because, like I said, he only did that because his mama wanted him to. Like, so I don't take anything he said I don't take anything he said and that to heart, because if he only did it for his mama, then I say half the shit was bullshit. If not all of it.
He said he only did it for his mom.
Yeah, he only did the interview for it because Allison wanted him to.
That is BS. That is BS. Because we all seen Hunter say, wait, put his hand like almost in his mother's face, right? He's talking to me. I can handle this. Remember? Be quiet. You need to be quiet. That's what he did to Allison. That's what Hunter did to Allison. I'm going to tell you something. Woo, baby. All I got to say is I bet you 10-1. Nobody in here could pay one of my kids to do that to me. I bet you couldn't pay one of my children to do that to me. I'm going to tell you what, my child would not ever disrespect me like that, right? Hell to the no. No, not in a million freaking years. Let me tell you that right now. You don't put your hand up and, and you need to tell me what I need to be doing. I tell you what. Whoa. I know what you'll be needing to do after that. But Hunter did it. Yes, he did. So I'm going to tell you, this dude is lying. Andrew's got this real hate for Allison, doesn't he? I mean, this woman took those kids and she raised those kids, she went to work every day and she raised her children. She went all the way to another state, got those children a really nice home. That was a really nice home. And I'm going to tell you something. I didn't see them kids cooking. I saw Allison cooking. I saw Allison working. I saw Allison doing everything. And I'm going to tell you, Allison did what this they call a deadbeat dad didn't do, right? Andrew done nothing. He didn't even want to give her $25 child support for his child. Said he knew what she was doing with it. No, I think he's reflecting. I think he's reflecting on what, you know, he was doing. And the reason he couldn't give it to her. He couldn't give it to her because that's what he was doing, right? And it was taking it all. And I tell you, that's my opinion. And I'm pretty damn sure I'm right. And I want to tell you another thing. You know, he was reflecting earlier this morning as well, or whenever he did the live. I don't know when he did it. Maybe last night, this morning. I don't know. I just got, someone had sent, you know, the little clips to me, with, you know, just saying what he was saying. I clicked on it and I could hear, you know, what he was saying. And I so appreciate, you know, all the people in here that care enough about me to take time to do that. You know, I do appreciate it. And I want you guys to know that. And anyhow, you know, he was like, PG got to see, you know, some bad stuff. And, you know, and all of this stuff. And he said that, you know, I bet she got excited and woo, and, you know, he's carrying. And I was like, wow, this dude's reflecting. He's the one that really got something out of, you know, seeing a Barbie doll, right? A Barbie doll. That's just disgusting. That is really freaking disgusting. But, you know, I learned right at that second that this is a guy that reflects, you know, he tries to tell you, that other people are thinking what in reality he's thinking, you know, how he's feeling. And, you know, that's weird. That's really weird, you know. And I always said, you know, if you listen to someone, you'll learn a lot more about them than you'll ever learn about the person they're talking about. And that just holds true, you know, when it comes to uneducated humans like, you know, these criminal-minded people, these suspects.
That was it. And then all the other interviews that were done was because she was getting paid for them. And that came out of Hunter's mouth only. And that came out of Hunter's mouth recently, actually.
Oh, he said that the only reason he did that particular interview was because his mom pushed him into it.
Yep, his mom pushed him into doing all of them.
Well, he didn't do any interviews other than that one. And Allison done quite a few. She did, you know, Allison did quite a few interviews, but none of them with Hunter.
That's what I believe Hunter meant by the rest of the interviews, as in the ones with Allison. She was paid to do them.
Well, you know,
I believe that they had no contact. I mean, that was not just stated by Allison. That was stated by Hunter and his sister. So that was stated by all three of them. And that was stated by Allison's mom too.
Like when Allison came on my panel. I had Allison as a guest a few times.
Yeah, I know. I was right there.
Now, she didn't ask me for nothing. She didn't ask me for one dime. I offered to put up her Cash App to get Hunter a new phone because law enforcement had taken his. And that's what the Cash App was doing up, was for him to, you know, to get a new phone. But
I don't believe
she asked for nothing. And, you know, and she told me I didn't even have to put up the Cash App, you know, for him a phone. I mean, you know, she wanted to come on my panel because she wanted to, you know, help out with Summer's case. And she said she loved that little girl. And, you know, and she was tired of seeing Candace and Don Wells lying all the time and playing games, and they shouldn't be doing that in that little girl's case. And she, she said she was really just interested in, getting out some truth on Summer's behalf. So, you know, I don't know
Well,
why Hunter
I
would
don't
be
know.
accusing her of,
Like,
accusing her of getting paid.
well,
He sounds like he's got a lot of anger built up against his mom somehow.
well,
Yeah,
gee,
I mean,
well,
you
gee,
have to take
wouldn't
note of that.
PG, look at it like this. Wouldn't you have some anger towards one of your parents if that parent kept you away from your other parent? I'd feel some sort of way about that.
I, you know, I don't think so. I don't think so because, like if my mother would have took us and she would have, put us in a decent home like that, and she would have, and I think Hunter looked to me like he was wearing pretty decent clothes. Allison seemed to dress those kids well, feed those kids well, take care of them well. Her and her family really seemed to love and
Okay,
take care of them
listen.
kids. Hunter quit his job right after Summer went missing. He quit his job. He wouldn't go to his job, and he was in a lot of trouble. Actually, he got relocked up for a while, right? Uh, he got relocked up for a while, to my understandings. And when he got out, he was staying with Leslie, right? He was staying with Leslie instead of Allison, and he didn't get his phone back. He wasn't working. He lied. The Allison got him a phone. Allison was the one who got Hunter another phone, and and law enforcement still has Hunter's phone in evidence, and he has not got it back. And he's not going to call to ask for it back because they want him to come in and, and basically come in, be interrogated, and, agree to take that lie detectors test about June 15, 2021. And he's not getting that phone back, right? And he ain't calling law enforcement because why? He's afraid to. He's afraid to. That's what it is.
Her family never liked Hunter from the word jump because he was the first boy in 4 generations to be born. They never liked him from the word jump. But they didn't
Right.
like me. They didn't like me more.
Oh, so you're saying that like Graham Bunn
Mm,
and Allison's mother and them, they really didn't. How about
no.
Allison? She loved Hunter.
Yeah, in her own special, twisted fucking way.
Can you elaborate on that?
She loved him to a point. I ain't gonna front on that. It was her only boy. I say she could have.
She loved him to more than a point. She loved that boy more than a point, because I'm going to be honest with you. And this is my opinion. In my opinion, I don't think Allison knew why Candace and Grandis was picking her son up. I think her son did because he had been hanging around with them, but I don't think Allison did. And I truly believe that when they got back to that house, Allison was in shock. She was in shock of what went down. And I think, that Allison took the truth to the grave because she felt that her boy had been used and abused by these two evil old women who picked her son up to go do something very sinister, right? And she felt that she wasn't going to let her son end up getting more time than what they would for having him do something so bad. That's my opinion. And she was like, she took that truth to the grave. But I also think that had she not covered up and for her son that day, and she would have, told law enforcement the truth early on and everything, I believe that Allison would still be here. That's my opinion. I think she would still be here. I don't think she would have went out of this world like Leslie did. And to be honest with you, I think Leslie might have still been here too. I think both of them women would have probably still been on this earth had, Allison done the right thing when she had the opportunity to do it. I think it cost them. I think it cost them. And, that's just the way it is. Once you get the feel, if unliving someone is something that that a human has been thinking about and seeking to do for a long time, and they got the opportunity and they did it, it becomes easier. It becomes easier to get aggressive and to do it again and again and again. And in my opinion, I believe that's what happened. I think, Candace and Grandis on June the 15th, 2021, opened a Pandora's box when it came to Hunter and sending him out into that water. That's my opinion. And I think that box was unleashed on two other victims as well, which was Leslie and Allison. So I agree with Hunter's own dad, who said he believes that Hunter, did this to those two women. And I agree with Andrew's brother that said, he believes that that Hunter destroyed that little girl that day. I agree with them. And this is Hunter's own family saying this stuff. It's not PG, it's them. But I fully agree with them. Yes, absolutely.
Done better and protected him from her mother and her grandmother, but that's just my opinion. I mean, I'm the outside looking in here, so.
Her mother and grandmother, did they physically? Did they physically?
They didn't physically harm him, but they broke the court order numerous times.
They broke the court order.
Yeah, there was a court order put in place 6 months after Hunter was born.
Right. And the mother and the grandmother, they
like to break that. They broke that numerous times.
And I mean, did they verbally abuse Hunter because they didn't like him, or?
I can't say for sure, but there was hints of that going around. There was hints of it. There was a lot of hate towards me because I didn't stay with Allison because she had a boyfriend and she was just a one-night stand.
Right.
So they didn't like the fact that I went off and did my own thing. Like, what do you want me to tell you? Like, she's with my homie, so it was kind of a revenge lay type deal. Merry Christmas.
What kind of life do you think Hunter had? I mean,
from when they were up here, it wasn't that pretty, but it was livable.
I mean, I saw pictures of when he was in New York. he seemed to always be around a lot of other children.
Yep.
They always seem to be playing. You know, Allison posted a lot of pictures. I
Yep.
seen I seen
posted
where
a lot
it seemed like he had cousins or something that was really
about
close
his,
with.
I'm not sure when they came about, to be honest with you. About when his cousins came about, I'm not sure, but I do know his Allison's littlest sister. Those cousins I were born up here, and that was after they left. So I'm not sure if he knew them before. I'm not. No, they weren't. I think they were just.
Do you think Allison cared about the Wells kids?
I'm not sure. I'm not Allison. I'm not. I can't answer that.
If you was going to rate Allison a good mom, 1 to 10, where would that number fall?
Raider at for what? As parenting wise,
As overall, just an overall good mother.
an overall good mother. I give her a 6 because she fumbled that ball pretty hard in the first, before she left New York.
Why did she go to Tennessee?
I don't know. I never asked because I figured I'd find out sooner or later, and I was never told.
Did somebody said that Aircon made some horrible videos about Summer being in a basement? Did he do that?
Eric made plenty of videos. He makes dark videos. It's his thing.
Wow. Hey, Marianne, I appreciate it. Super sticker. All right,
That's
girl.
what he does. That's how he expresses his. That's how he expresses himself. He does a bunch of dark shit, and I honestly don't think nothing of it because I'm used to it.
Right.
I grew up with the man. I mean, I'm used to it. I just sit back and laugh like that's a good one. Make another one. Because I look at the art part of it and not the overall bullshit of it.
Right. Right. Andy B, I hear that he's been trying to talk to you. What does he want to talk to you about, or do you even know?
Just talking. Normal
Like,
conversations. Normal humans.
like normal
Like
conversation.
how his day's going, how my day's going, how the fam's doing, how he's doing. That's all they are. Normal human conversations.
Why would he want to befriend you?
I don't know, why not? I'm not that bad of a person to talk to.
Yeah, but I mean,
I could be an asshole, yes, but I'm not that
I
bad of
mean,
a guy to talk to.
I think you're smart enough to feel there's a motive.
No, if there's a motive, I ain't seen it yet.
I mean, I
haven't
don't
seen
think
any hint of it.
I don't think that somebody just sees somebody and decides they want to be buddied up. And how come? I mean, how come he said, "Hit me up in the email," like his email?
I told him to hit me up an email.
No, he told you, and you said you don't know how to do that.
No, that's
Yeah,
vice versa, sweetheart.
I have the
all right, go relook at it, honey. I'm telling you, that's vice versa.
I have it. I have
That's
it.
why I said go relook at it. It's vice versa.
It was Andy told you, email me. And you said, I don't know how to do that. LOL.
Because I didn't have his email. I can't hook up, so I can't talk to somebody if I ain't got the email.
Well,
I didn't. Why would I want an email? I got.
That's what I said. That's what I said. You can't talk to him if you didn't have his email. I mean,
I got him on Facebook, so I'm good.
He didn't give it to you. He didn't give it to you as if you already had it. No. Do you know Andy from Tennessee? Did you ever meet him when you were down there? Or?
Nope. The only time I've ever talked to that man is in chats. Only through YouTube, never through outside means until recently. And I don't mind talking to him. He seems like a decent person to me.
And when did you guys start corresponding behind the scenes? Just recently?
Yeah. Just wanted somebody to talk to. And I'm like, all right, not a problem.
Oh, he said he just wanted somebody to talk to,
Well, yeah, I mean, you
and
know,
that person happens to be you.
I don't see why not. I'm not from around that area. Why not? And he always seemed to be
Something
decent.
about that don't sound right.
Listen, he always seemed to be decent no matter what chat we were in together. He was always decent to me. I was always decent to him. I mean,
And
I don't see why not.
he doesn't talk to you about the Summer Wells case at all,
Nope, and I don't ask him about it either.
and he doesn't ask anything about Hunter.
Nope, he hasn't said two licks of shit about nothing other than regular everyday life things. That's it.
And how long have you been corresponding with him now? A
Couple weeks.
week, a month,
Couple weeks.
couple weeks?
hmm
Oh,
I talked to Fred too. Talk to him just like he's a normal ass person too. Talk about how his day's going and talk about how it's hotter than hell today. How it's hotter than hell most days up here now because it's summertime.
does he talk to you daily, weekly?
No, it's here and there.
Okay, just friendly.
Yeah, we don't talk about the Wells case. We talk about normal everyday things.
What would you two have in common?
Nothing. We're just two men just shooting the shit like you would find anywhere else. Two
Right.
normal people shooting the shit about life.
Just I'm talking about sports and
Yeah.
maybe.
It's happening. Yes, I do talk to Fred. I can text him right now, but I'm pretty sure he's busy with his wife.
Oh, you talk to Fred too?
Yeah, I talked to Fred.
How long have you been talking to Fred behind the scenes?
I don't know, for a couple months.
Couple months. You've been talking with Fred behind the scenes too.
Yeah.
Do you talk to Don Wells behind the scenes?
No, I don't have him added.
You don't talk to Donald?
No.
Candace? Do you talk with her?
When she's online, I'll get in and join her shit. Outside of that, not really.
Oh, so you don't email with Donald or Candace or any of them. But you email with you kind of email with Andy and Fred.
No, I got them on Facebook. They're good.
Oh, so you correspond with Andy, and then why? Okay, then if you got them on Facebook, why would Andy say email me?
Because that was before I had him on Facebook.
Oh, that was before you had your Facebook. When did you create your Facebook?
No. That was before I added him on Facebook.
Oh, before. He said it was before he had his Facebook. And then now he's saying that, no, it's before I added him onto my Facebook. I think he told the truth the first time before he had his Facebook, because he was taking trips up there to Tennessee with a great big truck, going to storage sheds, meeting up with, people like Candace, right? It was Allison and Candace and Grandis and all of them meeting up with, why would they all need to go to the storage shed and meet up with Andrew, right? Why would they all need to go there and meet up with Andrew? And who else was there? I mean, we know about Candace and Grandis being there. Because they picked up Jose and everything. We know about Allison being there. Why was all these people meeting up at a storage shed? That's where they picked Jose up, right? That's where they picked Jose up. But, another little thing that Andrew, told the truth about last night was also, and you'll hear him say it, if not tonight, tomorrow night when I play the other half of this. But he also says that he was only in Tennessee for about 4 or 5 hours that day. that when they came up there, they got there about 9 in the morning. And, they went to that storage shed and everything. And he said then they got on the road back to New York City. So that right there allows us to understand. That right there allows us to understand that they didn't come down there to rent up no house. They didn't come down there to, to get no damn keys from no landlords. They had to come down there. I mean, they had to come down there to go straight to that storage shed, because before he was lying. Before he was saying that they went down there, and then he said that, they was going to stay in a hotel, look for a different type of place, and that's why they was thinking about getting a storage and all of this bullcrap. Last night you heard him say, we kept the truck. We kept the truck. We didn't ever turn the truck in. We was only there, 4 or 5 hours, and we were back on the road heading back to New York. So I'm going to tell you, now we understand why Jose wasn't going back with them. Now we understand why Jose bailed out. It was getting too hot for Jose. Whatever was going down was just a little too hot for Jose and his comfort. And he's like, I'm done with this. I'm done with this one. And Allison said they came down with 19 kids. And I said, no, you mean 19 humans? And she said, no, 19 kids. I said, what about adults? She said they were about 6 or 7 of those. I said, so they had 19 kids? She's like, yeah. That's what Allison told me. So, what the hell? Where would you put 19 people? Where would you put 19 people? If you've already got around 6 or 7 adults with you, they're going to take up the front of the Penske truck, because that only holds 2 people. And then, and then they supposedly had a car, and he changed the car to a van. But at the beginning, he was saying that they had a car, which a car only holds 3 in the back and 2 in the front. Now, these people's got supposedly 7 adults. Four of the adults can be accounted for being in front of the Penske truck and in front of the car. Andrew said they had his own kids with them, so that probably was the kids in the back seat of the vehicle. Now, where was all these other people? Where was all these other people? Where was the other 2 or 3 adults? Which we know Jose was one in the back of the truck. But that means, the back of that truck was holding like 16 kids and 2 or 3 adults. That would be about right. If you were human trafficking, that would be about right. What Allison explained sounds right, because you would have a couple adults in the back of the truck keeping an eye on the people you're bringing in. You have to have somebody back there, keeping an eye on all of this. And then, then you've got a person tailgating, a vehicle tailgating the truck. And you got the drivers of the truck as well. Now, I would say, I don't know if, Andrew's wife would go along with this back when I didn't know her. But now that she's come out and we've heard what a foul mouth and a trash bucket, she displays herself to be, I say, hell yeah, absolutely. She's just as evil as him. I could very much understand why they're together. One ain't no better than the other, right? They both, in my opinion, are evil as hell. And so with that being said, I would like to think, I mean, trafficking illegal substances is bad enough. That's bad enough, right? But to be doing that with humans, oh, that's even worse. That's even worse. But I don't know why law enforcement, wasn't, when Summer came up missing, I don't know why law enforcement wasn't looking into that little expedition that happened, a few months before Summer disappeared. I would think they would, be looking into that. And the feds might be looking into that as we speak. Right? Because it sounds like something ain't right there. Um, Bill Shipley, I don't know. I haven't ever known Allison to be affiliated with Bill Shipley. I know Shipley was affiliated with Ziggy and Fred and them and Don Wells. But I didn't know him to be affiliated with Allison. I know Allison was affiliated with Andy Bernard. But Bill Shipley, I haven't ever heard that. I haven't ever heard that. But I'm not saying it ain't, it ain't possible. I'm not saying it ain't possible because, it seems like all of these people knew one another. Every last one of them seemed to know, one another. I'm not sure when Lisa Kay got into, I believe that, Lisa Kay, what really wasn't into Summer's case, when she first came out here on our panel, when she first came out here up on our panel, um, she was talking about Rose Bly. She was, all mixed up in Rose Bly's case, and she was following Wisconsin Mama around. And the reason she was following Wisconsin Mama around is because Wisconsin Mama's son supposedly had information on what happened to Rose Bly. Supposedly, Wisconsin Mama's son was supposed to go to law enforcement with some information about a sheriff there in Wisconsin that's supposed to have been having an affair with Rose Bly. And he had some type of Indian friend that he was hanging around with. And supposedly they were up in this house that this sheriff's family owned. And Wisconsin Mama's son went there to pick up Rose Bly to go to a party. They were all supposed to go to some type of party or something. And he stopped by to pick up Rose or to see if Rose was still going or something. It was a big group of kids hanging around and young adults. He was one of them. And he supposedly went by this house because her car was parked there the night before she disappeared. And he was supposed to have went there and went in, hunting for Rose. And they said she wasn't there, even though her car was outside. They said she wasn't there. but he said there was a really foul odor, a real bad foul odor in the room, and that this Indian guy and the sheriff was supposedly tearing carpet up out of, as what he was supposed to report. That's what he was supposed to report to law enforcement in Wisconsin. And that was the information that Lisa Kay was trying to pry up out of Wisconsin Mama, and Wisconsin Mama wasn't, wanting to talk to Lisa Kay or give Lisa Kay any type of information, because Wisconsin Mama felt that Lisa Kay was just trying to use her, to get to her son, and try to cause some issues for her son. And she really didn't like Lisa Kay anyhow. And but Lisa Kay was following her around, like a puppy, and kissing her boots or whatever, I don't know. But that's how Lisa Kay ended up here, was following Wisconsin Mama, trying to get all that information about Rose Bly. And we ended up with all the information. Lisa Kay didn't know nothing about Rose Bly's case at all. We're the ones that found all of that out. And then I was going to call the sheriff. Matter of fact, I did call in there, but he wasn't available. He don't even work. He doesn't even work there anymore. He wasn't available to speak with. That they told me he wasn't available, but I found out that he wasn't even working there anymore at the time I called in. And but I was going to ask him. I was going to tell him what was being said and everything, and get his take on it if I could get a hold of him, but I wasn't able to get a hold of him. But everybody else was like, all scared up to call this guy, and you can't be scared. Closed mouths don't get fed, right? I mean, what is there to be afraid of? Why would you not call him up and say, hey, did you know her? Was you, intimate with her? Was you, did you have anything? Was it true about this Indian guy and you cutting up carpet and it smelled like, somebody took their last, bathroom break in there, because that's what's running around in the circle right now. Somebody supposedly, came in the girls' cars outside your place. You got a stench up in there. You're taking out carpet and everything like something happened. What's the deal there? I just wanted to talk to him. But I didn't get that opportunity, but you might as well be blunt with them, right? I mean, I ain't calling him up just to, sing him a freaking, bedtime song, or, or whisper, beautiful things in his ear. I'm calling him up because I want information. I want to know if any of this stuff is true. If it ain't, let's squash it, right? Let's squash it. There's no reason to keep carrying on with it. But I wasn't able to get a hold of him. But Lisa Kay knew nothing, absolutely nothing about Rose Kay. She wants to gaslight you into believing she knows everything when she knows nothing. And her knowing nothing sticks out like a sore thumb, right? It sticks out like a sore thumb. And then she, like, if you say up, she says down. You say over, she says under, You say hot, she says cold. like, you know, there's some little voice talking to her saying, you better not go along with what they're saying. You got to say the option. It's option day. Today is options day. Every fucking day is options day. And you better listen to this little voice and always say the option, right? And I'm like, what the hell? I mean, I can't handle that kind of stuff, you know. It sounds a little schizo to me. And I'm like, you know, whoa, you know, that demon's on her, then, you know, I'm going to back away and let it stay there. All right. I'm going to just back up and let it stay there. It's like, oh, hell no. I don't like those people dealing with that kind of stuff. It's time, you know, beep, beep, beep. That's the voice I hear. Beep, beep, beep. Get away from it. But yeah, you know, man, I'm gonna tell you that Lisa Kay's she's a freaking nerve wrecker, if you ask me. She'd be getting on your nerves. But she wasn't ever into Summer's case. To be honest, I don't think she was really into Rose's case. I think she was into Rose's old man. I think she was into Rose's ex old dude. She really had a thing for that guy. And I don't think she really, you know, I don't think she really cared, you know, cared about getting information for Rose anyway. I think she was, you know, just wanted to act like she was in order to, you know, get her foot in the door, you know, in the door of Rose's old man's place, to be honest, you know. So yeah, that was like freaky weird, right? And then she thought she was all somebody because she's talking to Rose's ex old man. Like, who cares? He's a nobody. He don't know shit either. Unless, you know, he did it. That's the only way he would know anything, is if he did it. Right? And so who cares? Nobody cares about Rose's old man. I mean, this guy, you know, which I found suspicious, is, you know, he didn't even marry Rose until 6 months before she disappeared. Did you guys know that? They was only married like 6 months and Rose disappeared. She had 2 kids by this guy. He marries her up. 6 months later, she's disappeared. I find that really suspicious, if you ask me. And you know, if she was unalived, her body wasn't even cold. It wasn't even cold before he divorced her. Like, he marries her 6 months beforehand. She disappears within 6 months, right? And then immediately, like fucking 6 weeks, he's divorcing her. He's running to a divorce, you know, to the court system and divorcing her, you know, before they even got a start in trying to find her. You know, that's suspicious as hell to me. I don't know, you know, but that's my opinion. It's all, you know, these people are all weird. These people are, you know, it's like a circle, like a big circle of weird people, right? You got Grandis and Candaces and Donalds and you know, this weird Rosebud's husband and you know, all these weird people. You got all these weird people in this big old circle, and it's like, whoa. I mean, it's like Halloween all year long, right? I prefer Christmas. But man, these people are like, you know, yeah, like the circle jerks. Were you added into your Facebook?
Yep. I've always had
Oh,
Facebook. Shit, I've had
okay.
Facebook since it came out.
Oh, Oh, all right. Good to know. Good to know. Yeah, that's right. Ain't that right, Wood Fairy? Exactly. Yeah, she's another one. You know, you're right. She said she talks to people. She didn't. Then she said she didn't, ever say that and this and that. I mean, she's like I said, I mean, observe her sometime. It's like, it's straight up. I'm telling you, it just, in my opinion, it's schizo. That's my opinion. Just saying, I mean, I don't want to observe her. I observed her, in the backstage here when she would used to try to come up all the time. I observed her back there, and I'm telling you, I did mess your fragile little mind up, right? It messed your fragile little mind up. Like, she'd open that camera up, man, bloodshot eyes, hair sticking up. It's like, whoa, you know. I wasn't for sure, I wasn't for sure this person was real or even, with us anymore. I mean, I didn't know what the hell that was. It definitely set you back, it would sit you back in your chair like, what is this? And every time it's like the same thing. I don't know. Um, laying in a bed, hair sticking up, eyeballs big as they can get, all bloodshotted up, staring at you. I'm like, yeah, it's some scary shit. And I don't know. I don't know. But it didn't matter what time of day we was having a live or whatever. As soon as that came, it was always the same. It was like, it's like watching the Addams Family or something, right? You know how they're always in the same clothes and everything, always, looking like, the one guy that comes up out of the basement and stuff. Yeah, that's like they don't ever take a bath. They just look that way forever. It's like if I seen you on the street, buddy, I would definitely know you. So you basically correspond with Andy and Fred, but
But it
you
ain't
don't.
about nothing. That's the thing. It's not about anything besides regular, everyday things. I don't
Right?
question about nothing because it ain't my damn business. I'm not a cop.
Right. Oh, Andrew, how you lie. How you lie. Mm. Who's your daddy? Who's your daddy, Andrew? Because you lie. I'm going to turn that into a song, right? Andrew, man, he knows how to lie. Not so good. Not so good. But he knows how to lie. And, oh, hell no. Hell no.
I mean, people are allowed to make friends with people. I mean, that's what happens. I mean,
Andrew, I already know what you're doing behind the scenes. You're behind the scenes crybabying around. I'm bringing it out. I'm bringing it out. I'm going to show everybody what you're doing behind the scenes. I already got messages. I already know. Man, you don't have to lie to kick it. You don't have to lie to kick it.
we're all wrapped up in a series of unfortunate events. So why not? Why not just sit there and chit chat?
Yeah, but you don't talk about the unfortunate events, right?
Well, that's all I'm chalking it up to.
Right,
Series of unfortunate events.
right. Really, I'm just trying to play Johnny Bad ASS behind the scenes, right? That's what I'm really trying to do. I'm just trying to bed and Andy's and all of these suspects. Um, I'm just trying to protect my boy while they're all trying to protect their backsides too. And I figured we could communicate together, get this little circle and you know, um try to shut all of this down, so it'll go away. We don't want people talking about Summer because law enforcement's going to keep working on the case until they solve it, as long as these people's out here keeping Summer's name out. And as long as these people are out here doing everything they can do to get her found, law enforcement ain't going to give up on looking for her. And we don't want that, because at some point they're going to figure this all out and people are going to end up going where they belong, to prison. So I got this great hope that we could all hold hands. Boy, I wouldn't want to hold hands with him. But then again, I wouldn't want to hold hands with none of the rest either, right? They all seem to have dirty hands. Yeah. I mean, that would be pretty gross. That would be really bad. That would be real bad. Because, you got the radiated, hands, and you got who knows what on the other ones. And whoa. Yeah. I'm going to tell you. Dang. These people are so evil. They're so evil and everything, but, wow. Satan did them dirty, didn't he? Satan did them dirty. I hate to say it, but Satan really did them dirty. Because these people, man, they ain't no better looking. They ain't dressing no better. Wow. They're evil for no reason at all, in my opinion. That's my opinion. Like, they weren't even smart enough to get something for being evil and not minding hell to be their home for eternity. They ain't even getting nothing for it. That's weird. It's like, whoa. I mean, I definitely wouldn't join their circle. Like there's higher levels than that. I mean, if you don't mind going to Hades forever, there's higher levels where, you can actually have a good life here. Right? You can have a good life here, maybe. Live in mansions, drive Maseratis, and, carry, Louis Vuittons. Maybe steak and potatoes every day. Man, I ain't seeking to go to Hades at all. Right? I'm not seeking to go there at all. I'm actually trying to win my gown to the right place. And I'm working hard doing it. But just saying, these people, these are not people working hard to get to the righteous place. These are people that just don't care. And they're all talking and dressing weird and acting weird and leading you to believe that they're into, some stuff that people probably shouldn't be into, right? And, they're a big group of nobodies, trying to be somebody, and it just ain't working out for them.
I don't understand what you're trying to say, Second on. What do you mean by, I know what birds of a feather flock together mean, but I would like you to elaborate what you mean with that statement here now. See, I'm not a drug dealer. I don't do drugs. I don't even drink. The only thing I do is drink coffee, Mountain Dew, and smoke cigarettes.
and violate that cat, in my opinion, right? That's good to know. Good to know.
Well, quitting drinking was easier than I thought it would be.
How long you been clean?
Shit.
Not ever. Not ever. If you have to sit and think that hard and you still doing it.
3.5 months.
Oh, congratulations.
Yeah, it was easy. I just dumped the bottle down the drain and haven't looked back.
Yeah, right. I'm gonna tell you, it's not easy. It's not that easy.
It's no different than when I quit doing nose candy. I
Mm.
threw that shit down the drain. I flushed that shit down the toilet and didn't look back for many a years. Yeah, granted, I dabbled here and there, but not all the time.
Yeah.
And then I said, "Screw you!" I was done permanently.
Right. That's what I was going to say. It'll get you from time. It'll get you from time to time.
But, at $100,
you'll think about it, but you gotta keep moving.
right? But at $100 an 8-ball, plus not knowing whether or not it's laced with fentanyl, I'm good.
That's the big problem. That's the big problem today in society. With being an addict or anything, is the fact that you don't know what they put into that stuff. You have no idea what you're putting into your system.
And listen,
And it's very dangerous. You don't know what they're cutting it with. You don't know what they're doing.
But see, and I'd rather take that $100 and go spend it elsewhere.
Absolutely.
I'm just saying. I don't like carrying.
He'd rather take that $100, go spend it elsewhere. Honey, I thought we was talking about, about alcoholism, not $100 habit, right? Because ain't no alcohol cost money like that. All right. I mean, this dude lives in the slums of New York City. It ain't like, he's dining with fine wines and so forth and so on, right? Wow.
Cash anyway, so.
Absolutely. Yes, it is much better to, you'd be surprised, it's not really $100. It's hundreds of dollars over a period of time.
Oh yeah. Well, I'm just saying, I'm not just gonna get up and jump and go get some for that. No, I'm not gonna take that risk. I'm good. If I want to get high, I'll go pack a bowl and smoke one right here on my porch where I sit, because it ain't legal. We never went to Ben Hill. The only one out of any of us that went there was Jose. None of us been to Ben Hill at all.
Oh, I think, well, put it this way. Why would he have to go to Ben Hill? It sounds like Ben Hill went to him at the storage unit. Right? Put a 1 in the chat if you agree with me. Why would he have to go to Ben Hill Road when Ben Hill Road came to him? Right? That's how I'm seeing it. That's how I'm seeing it. And this is a funny thing too. Funny thing is he goes down there, he goes to the storage unit that Ben Hill happens to show up at, right? Ben Hill happens to show up at this storage unit. From what I'm hearing, all of these people off of Ben Hill is at the storage unit over there. The whole big group of them. And then Jody Sue talks about, Candace coming and telling her about all of these kids in the back of a van, and, that they're selling out, right? And she's telling Andy to get up. She didn't care how he had to do it. Get one of them children for her. This ain't sounding good, you guys. This ain't sounding good. Just saying. This really ain't sounding good.
And by the time I started speaking out on my channel, pictures of that place were already plastered everywhere.
So, all you guys didn't go up to Ben Hill.
No.
You know, when you went into Tennessee and found out that there was no keys, no house, and you had to end up going back into New York, how did you have a place to go back to if you had left?
We made we made calls on the way back. It's a long 18 and a half hours, sweetheart.
So you called the landlord and told him?
No. I called my no. We already left that place. We were done with that place. So Jeffy went back to his mom's crib. We went to my cousin's crib, and then we wound up moving into the place we left almost 2 years ago.
Oh, so when you guys came back into New York City, you guys had to split up into other people's homes.
Well,
until you could get another one.
Yeah, pretty much. We had to wait to get another one. I went back to work, and then the old lady went back to work.
Are you seeking to go back to work again?
There's really no place. There's not.
I don't think this guy's ever worked a day in his life, if you ask me. That's my opinion. And before he was saying that they went back to their place because they hadn't lost it yet. Remember that? Put a 1 in the chat if you remember him saying that they had went back to the same. Yeah, they went back to the same place because they hadn't lost it yet. The landlord hadn't even missed them. That is what I remember him saying. Yeah, and now he's saying they had to split up in other people's homes. This is a lot of bullshit. Why is he lying? Why is he lying about this trip? He does nothing but lie, right? He does nothing but lie.
Left up here for me to do.
He wants to be split up in a couple of different houses, because he doesn't want to get caught for the real reason he was hauling a Penske truck down to Tennessee to a storage unit.
We just lost over 600,000 jobs. There's nothing. Good luck. Everybody's laying off now. I mean, if you don't have experience in retail or customer service, then
right, lockdown, exactly.
You really are screwed. Where did Jeffy's girlfriend go? She went back to her husband. Well, her ex-husband. That's where she went.
So Jeffy lost his girlfriend?
No, Jeffy just didn't like the fact.
And Jeffy's girlfriend has 50 stories where she went. I wrote down every one of them. Oh, really? Wow. Mm-hmm. It sounds about right. Lockdown. Absolutely.
The fact that she was
Is Jeffy Ericon? Is Jeffy Ericon?
No. Jeffy's Jeffy.
So Ericon and Jeffy are two different people.
Yep, two different people.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah. And why is that? One kid of Jeffy's girlfriends always left out of the stories. That's a question, Lockdown. That is a question right there, girlfriend. That is a question, right? Yeah. Where was the kid? Where was that kid riding? And where's the kid now? So.
Actually, Jeffy's at work right now. Shit. I didn't even realize the time.
Why was you sending? Why was you sending motorcycle people down to pick Hunter up after Summer went missing?
I didn't have the money right at the time to go down to make this. I didn't have the $650 to make the round trip. And
Right.
he backed out at the time.
Right.
They got a hold of me, not the other way around.
And this particular group of people do this for free?
Usually, yeah. From if you go back and actually look deep into them, they do a lot of good things, a lot of great things. It's just, I guess there was issues with a few that weren't.
Jeffy, I thought it was Jose. I thought it was Jose that that threw the phone in the water. I thought Jose, when he left, you know, why would Jose throw his phone away after he left Ben Hill Road? That didn't sound right either. That didn't sound right as well. Oh, really? Really? Wow. I have a motel video. Andrew thinks if you delete something, it's gone from the internet forever. He names all 7 kids and where they are going to sleep. The motel knocks on the door and they have too many people in one room and they want them to get a second room. They fight the staff. They throw them out or they leave. Oh, really? Oh, wow. Oh, Andrew told a story about Jeffy and mailing a phone back. For real. According to Andrew and Jeffy, Jose sent Jeffy Jose's phone from Alaska with $650. That don't make no sense. That don't make no sense at all. Why would Jose send Jeffy his phone and $650? That sounds weird.
Doing so great or good things. Because quite recently they became under fire for some McNasty stuff.
From Alaska, he didn't ever make it to Alaska. Yeah, because when he left Candace and Grandis, he went over into Carolina, and then when he left Carolina, he went out to Cali. And as far as I know, he didn't ever hit Alaska. He ended up on the live once they figured out where he was, because he came out and talked to Justin. And I think if he wouldn't have ever came out and talked to Justin, he'd probably still be alive. That's my opinion. Oh, that's how I know they had 7 kids. I saw them. Right? Wow.
We weren't hauling anything. We were carrying our stuff from our house. When we were trying to move to Tennessee, we had everything we owned in the Penske truck. And yes, I say U-Haul a lot because I'm used to seeing U-Haul all the time due to my line of work.
Mama Bear says you and Jeffy had a relationship.
Me and Jeffy always had a tight relationship. Nothing sexual. Pervs. God. There was no sexual things going on between me and Jeffy. But we had one hell of a run making people believe it, though. I mean,
if you was giving it a run, it was a run. Right? That's my opinion. It was a run, all right.
at one point in time, Jeffy and I were tight, we're thick as thieves. I tell you what, we still are, but we don't hang out as much. But at one point in time, you could not find one without the other. And the rumor mill spins and wins.
Yeah. Man, I tell you what, from that picture he was trying to show. Oh, you know what they be doing, right? You know what they be doing. Wow. Yes, I know that they took a car and a U-Haul down to
We took a van and a Penske truck.
And I know that Jose went with them down there.
Yeah, Jose was supposed to go back.
What made Jose break up from the crowd? What exactly ran him off like that?
Because he had work lined up elsewhere.
He didn't have no work lined up anywhere. He was up there hanging at Don and Candace's place for almost he got up there actually in August, and he didn't even leave till October. So he's up there almost 2.5 months, and he was only picking up his first paycheck, right? He was picking up his first paycheck, and it only takes you 2 weeks to get your first paycheck. It wasn't like he got a second or third. He was just getting his first. So he was up there living for nothing, right? He didn't have no. He had Allison keeping him up. Until she left. Work lined up in Tennessee where he was staying.
No, he didn't. But I guess it was easier to go from Tennessee to California than it was from New York to California, because he was supposed to go do something in California and then go to Alaska for his cannery.
Okay, so he didn't ever get out of California. So how did he mail a phone to Jeffy from Alaska that he didn't ever, he wasn't ever in Alaska? Make that make sense. That sounds really weird right there.
Yeah.
Well, but it sounds like that was a transfer. If it happened, if a phone and money ended up being sent to Jeffy, it sounds like a transfer. What I'm saying is, it sounds like, the package was sent to Alaska, to someone in Alaska who re-addressed it and sent it back to New York to Jeffy and them. So it sounds like Jose was trying to, kind of trying to get some dogs off of his trail, right? He was trying to get some dogs off of his trail, is what it sounds like to me. Jose was paranoid about something and, trying to convince somebody he's in a place he wasn't. Until he came out, about Summer and ended up on a line. And, and I guess we can understand now why he might have been, transferring packages the way he was. Makes sense. he didn't. That can't be true because when Jose went to Tennessee, he had nothing lined up. He was living with the Wells for almost 2.5 months.
He was there for a month.
Um, you know how bums are. I broke my phone. I've been without a phone for a long time now, and I've been needing a new. Where I could get a phone, man. And maybe Jose had an extra one that he cleared and just sent. It sounds like they was wanting money too. $650. It sounds like they was needing money for rent or for something. It sounds like he was just trying to help them out. I don't know. And transfer the package so they wouldn't know where he was. That's my opinion. He was trying to throw him off of finding him. And then more than that.
No, he was there for a month.
He was there up
happened in October, and he got there in September. He left right after that. He left,
and that's a lie. Jose was there way before September. He got there in August because the kids weren't even in school yet. They was not even in school yet. So and wasn't starting school for a while because he's up there. Don is up there in Utah. And Jose is cooking breakfast, cleaning the house, taking care of the kids, hanging out, cleaning the yard, doing all the stuff that these women should have been doing, and they weren't. And here he is, playing Mr. Mom, right? And Mr. Maid and everything else up in there. So he was there for a long time, and even after Don got back, he was still there for a long time till that 911 call was made. And that's when when Grandass ran him over into Carolina to get rid of him. So, Candace could get her new car, right? For betraying her own daughter, in my opinion. That's my opinion. I'll keep it. But, we sit here and we hear, we heard Andrew lie and lie and lie and lie. Because that's all he does is lie. And we know that he's tied up with this group of people somehow because Andy Bernard says, email me. So they've been corresponding for a while. And you heard Andrew say, well, that's before I had a Facebook. So, hell, that's probably been years then. That's probably been years they've been corresponding, right? And have obviously kept in close contact through emails, like criminals do. So, makes perfect sense to me. Makes perfect sense to me. Maybe the feds need to check into these emails and see what the hell's going on. That's my opinion. That's my opinion. And I'm sure the feds will get a call. I'm sure they're going to get a call, probably, if not like right now, they're going to probably get a few calls tomorrow, because I'm sure a lot of people in here right now are going to be hitting them up saying, hey, you need to check emails, because these people seem to be corresponding together for a while. And this is the guy that came down there in a Penske truck going to some storage unit. Now he's saying he wasn't even in, Tennessee for 4 or 5 hours. He had Ben Hill Road meeting up with him at the storage unit. He didn't even have to go to Ben Hill Road. What the hell was they all doing? And he's telling, this Andy Bernard guy to hit me up in an email. Then he's on there saying, on a live saying, oh, it's been, before I had a Facebook. And, well, that means they've been corresponding, for quite a long time, right? Quite a long time, like years. Something's been going on. So, check into those emails and stuff. And And, you know, you might get some answers to what the hell's been going on. And possibly, you know, what happened to this little girl. Right? What exactly happened to her? I mean, I think these people are all a circle. I think they're all a circle. And right now, you know, they're afraid they're going to get, you know, they're going to get gelled up. But hell, it's their own mouths. They're coming out here with their own mouths, talking about, you know, giving out all the information. You know, we don't need to go away. They do. They're the ones that need to go away and quit talking because, you know, it's their own mouths that's telling the story of everything that went down, right? And they want, I mean, what is wrong with these people? Do they not understand you got the right to remain silent? Anything you say and or do will be held against you in the court of law? You know, what part of this do you not understand? That's my opinion. And that is my chair. That's my chair. It's hitting my desk. But yes, what the hell are they thinking? They're they're telling everything on themselves, and then they want to be angry with everyone else. It don't make no sense. It don't make no sense. I mean, that's the problem with criminal-minded human beings. They they don't get no education. They just don't get no education. But then again, if they had an education, they wouldn't be criminal-minded. If, you know, people who apply themselves to getting an education ain't too lazy to apply that education to have a good life. And what I'm saying is people that's educated don't mind working. They work to get their, you know, degrees and everything, and they're going to work. They're going to continue to work to to build a life for themselves. They ain't going to be out there doing sinister things. So, you know, that's my opinion. That's my opinion, right? I I don't know. Like I said, you know, they're evil. They're evil. In my opinion, they're very damn evil. The whole lot of them. And they don't, you know, they didn't seem to get nothing for you know, being so damn evil. They're like on the low. They're on the low. And it is what it is. You know, I'm sure that Satan's laughing as hard as those demons housing up these evil people. So it is what it is. But you know, I'm gonna get out of here, let you guys get some rest, you know, and we're gonna pick up, God willing, we're gonna pick up tomorrow night, and play out the rest of what Andrew tried to keep you guys from being able to go back and listen to. Right? We're going to play it all out. We're going to make sure we play out every lick of it, because you know it really shows some incriminating stuff, and it's and that incriminating stuff helps Summer's case. It helps her case. It makes her case stronger, and it gives, you know, every little thing helps. Is the more we can strengthen her case, the better chance we have of possibly getting it prosecuted. So we're going to keep on keeping on and doing all we can all we can to help her, to help this little girl. Absolutely. It ain't about Andrew, and it's not about his son, and it's not about Don and Candace, and it's not about Andy Bernard's and Jody Sue's. It's not about Fred's and Laura's. It's not about Chad Arnold's or Marlena Crawford's. It's about Summer Moon Utah Wells, a missing 5-year-old little girl who was surrounded with all of these suspects. And the only thing that's going to bring her home is the truth. The only thing that's going to get her justice is the truth. And we have to seek the truth, find the truth, and report that truth. Until the whole puzzle is put together and this case can be prosecuted up. And I greatly appreciate each and every one of you for being here and being the army of Summer Moon Utah Wells. Don't ever think for 5 seconds that you are not appreciated, because you are absolutely appreciated. Summer's got a beautiful army. She's got a beautiful army. And I know if she was here, she would thank you herself. Little Summer would thank you herself. She would tell you how much she appreciates each and every one of you being here for her. So I'm going to tell you for her. She does appreciate you. And God bless each and every last one of you who are here supporting her and caring about her and doing all you can do to help bring her home as well. Keep those prayers going up. Keep those prayers going up for this little girl. Because I know God is listening. I know God will answer at some point, and Summer's case will be solved. I just know God will solve it because He knows how much we want it solved. Don't give up. Because I don't think Summer would have gave up on us. Let us not give up on her. And continue to pray for these other missing children. Continue to pray for Michael Vaughn, Sebastian Rogers, Jack and Lily Sullivan. Continue to pray for all of these missing kids. Pray for one another as well. So many people need them prayers. Let us be the ones praying for them. I sure know somebody's been praying for PG, and I do appreciate it. I appreciate it. And let me tell you now, I'm praying for you. God bless everybody. God bless. Much love. Good night.